Hey, hi. Welcome to I Know, a solo Beatles video cast where I talk about the four solo careers of all of the Beatles. Today we have the guy, the other leg, I should say, um, the nice guy, Andy Nicholes, to talk about the 2002 mix of Mind Games, the album. I know I already reviewed it. I know, I did. And, but we're back at it. So, first of all, Paul announced another children's book. Are you gonna get that for your nephew?
I will.
Okay.
What's it called again? Green Submarine or something?
Yeah, Grand Dude and the Chillers and the Green Submarine.
Yeah, that'll just be a. I'll buy it for him, and at the holidays when I visit him, I'll go read it to him. But I won't buy a copy of it. Will you?
Yeah. No.
Okay, good, good. Well, thanks for having me on today, Hudson. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome anytime. So first of all, before we get into the topic,
yeah.
Andy Nicholes, what are your top five McCartney albums?
Top five McCartney albums. Okay, on the spot, but I like that. Include this is including Wings, right? This is like
Yes.
everything under one umbrella, right?
Yes.
Um, okay, Ram, Red Rose Speedway, London Town, Tug of War, and Flaming Pie.
Good choices.
Thank
Both good
you.
choices. London Town's a little less for me, but Red Rose Speedway's really gone up in stature for me personally.
It's nice to see. Now, did you like the album before the archive release of 2018, or was that kind of brought it to your kind of forefront?
I think I just had the album before. I don't think I even knew that the archive. I wasn't like super paying attention to reissues then,
Sure.
but I think it's a perfect album. It's not probably not a top five, but it's a top 10 album for me.
It's a top 10 album for you. Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for that record. Yeah, it's full of ballads and stuff and Little Lamb Dragonfly, and you got the medley on side two, which my partner detests, and I will go to the death to defend it, and he knows that. But it's McCartney doing what McCartney does best, and that's just really kind of effortless melodic songwriting, and people either like that or don't like it.
I agree. It's a perfect album. It really is.
No argument here. It's been my number one album for as long as I can remember. Yeah, just and I think part of it, and you might agree with this, is the fact that it's the one that a lot of people don't go to. Everybody goes to everybody went to Band on the Run in the last decade or so. Now everybody kind of gravitates towards Ram. Ram is like the great one to watch and love now. So I kind of it's that kind of has always been like the one, like, okay, well, hey, this album is just as good as Band on the Run people, in my opinion. Give it a chance. And I mean, you saw with the in 2018 when they put the Wings Mega, the 71 to 73 box out, that got some really good reviews.
Yeah.
Deservedly so. Long overdue, in my opinion.
Now, kind of reverting back to the topic, what are
Yeah,
your top three least Paul McCartney albums?
least.
Yes.
Okay. Are we including firemen and all that stuff too, or not? Or just sticking with the main canon like Tom and I have been doing?
Sticking with the main canon. You can include cover albums though, so like the main 27, including Electric Arguments. I call that a Paul album.
I kind of agree with you. Three, the least favorite. Driving Rain, number one. And again, we'll get to this when I review it. Like I enjoy that record. But compared to everything else, I can't rank it higher than those other records. So Driving Rain one, uh, Press to Play two, and three. I'll say the Russian album.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Driving Rain's higher, but Russian album belongs in the bottom.
yeah, and I'm glad you included covers albums because I feel that his '80s period is, I think it's actually a little bit underrated, and
I do too.
I'm in the process of researching and writing a book that's just focused on his '80s material and why it needs to be reassessed. Working title of the book at the moment is called My Brave Face. Paul McCartney's lost quote unquote decade, and I'm going to kind of use some research period, kind of pull some reviews from the time and kind of compare them to now and kind of defend those records in that 10 years. So that's a long range project that I've been working on.
I will be the first in line to buy that book.
You won't have to buy it. I'll send you a copy.
Now back to George. What are your 5 favorite George Harrison albums?
Okay, well, as everybody else out there in Beatle world, we're going to put All Things Must Pass 1, which I think that's just universal. And that's, but assuming that that's number 1, I'll go 33 1/3, 2, Cloud 9, 3, Living in the Material World 4, and Self-Titled 5.
Oh, good choices.
Yeah.
33 1/3 is an awesome album.
It's the comedic, lighthearted side of George, which I think more people need to see. So many people get lost up in mythical, super serious, heavy topic George, spiritual George, which is what that first album is. So, first proper solo album is, that they forget that he was actually a pretty witty, funny guy.
I know.
And that's what that record is, this song. And he really just taking the Mickey on himself, really, on a lot of those songs, which is why I like that record. You like it too?
Oh, love that record. Except for Pure Smokey. I'm not a fan of that song.
Agreed. But it's just got a nice, he's got Willie Weeks on bass on that record. It just opens up with that Woman Don't You Cry for Me. Great bass hook. Great bass hook on that,
I love that.
No, he's got that spiritual stuff on that record with that song Dear One, but that's a great song too.
Oh, that's like a perfect side 1 all the way through.
All the way through. So yeah, if we're gonna just leave All Things Must Pass on its own thing, because it's how do you top that? So it's like but after that, definitely 33 1/3 would be like, I listen to that more than All Things Must Pass.
Yeah, I don't have the time to sit down and listen to a double album once a week. I really don't.
No, it's the beauty of single records that are just, about 40 minutes in length. Put it on, flip it over, done.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't happy why Flaming Pie is on 2 LPs, because I like to.
Well, if you can ever find an original copy of Flaming Pie, it is 1 LP.
I'd like to not sell my liver.
Ask Ethan about that. He might have one. Yeah. George is tough because George and John are tough because, of course, their discography is so limited compared to Paul and Ringo, obviously.
Yeah.
So when you're talking, I don't like to, everybody has their favorites, but, and we like just about all of it, right? In this Beatles world. So, but when John and George, it's, really becomes, they're so limited. George has a little bit more than John, but it's still limited in terms of what you're picking. So, and obviously, today's topic, John is just, gonna focus in on Mind Games too.
Yeah, I think John has more compilations than George and John's studio albums combined.
I think that's probably a fair statement. Off the top of our head, what do we got? Let's go back. Shaved Fish.
Yeah,
Shaved Fish, right? 75 issued in his lifetime. The John Lennon collection, 82. If you want to call the Imagine soundtrack a compilation to the film, 3, the Lennon 1990 box set. Okay.
Lennon Legend or something.
Lennon Legend, which came out in 98. That's 5.
Working Class Hero.
Lennon Anthology, the box set, 6.
About that.
Working Class Hero, 2005, 7. Then you had in 2010, when the 70th birthday archive campaign went on, there was a Give Me Some Truth thing of just his hits on that. 8. That's
the same name for a different compilation.
Give Me Some Truth, right? A compilation box set, which was forced, and that was called Give Me Some Truth. 8. Now that's 2010, and then I think nothing really until
Power to the People, the Hits.
Power to the People, the Hits, 9. But that was pulled from the same. That was pulled from the same thing. I think I have it right here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pulled from the same thing. So like you have this compilation, right? Give Me Some Truth, which is just a compilation of 4 CDs of just, and now there's like themes to them, right? So like it's just like, one CD is called Borrowed Time, and the other one's called Working Class Hero.
Oh, I like that.
And the other one's called Woman. and then the other one's called Roots. So all the discs have a theme to them, but it's still a compilation. But they're all pulled from the 2010 remasters, which are just kind of faithful remasterings of the original recordings, as we're going to discuss here. Yeah. So they're yes.
That's a good Walls and Bridges mix. 20.
You're right. Yeah, right. The 2005.
No, the 2010 one.
Because that was faithful. Yeah, I think we'll discuss Walls and Bridges. And I generally like those 2000-ish remixes, but the Walls and Bridges ones I'm sure you will agree, there's some issues with that.
Yeah, isn't the cover off?
The cover's been changed, and Yoko kind of changed up some. She put herself in on at the end of Surprise, Surprise, Sweet Bird of Paradox on the 2005 remix. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how I feel about the 2005 remix.
Yeah. Just when you're changing the artwork, like that was the one where it was not. And then of course, sometime in New York City was truncated from a 2-disc original thing to a condensed 1-disc version. So if you're looking at it in terms of being faithful to John's vision, those 2000 and those early 2000s remixes are not kind of to what he. So I guess that's why in 2010 they were all done again the way John did them. But they have pros and cons. Those 2000 early 2002. I mean, because it started in 2000 with Plastic Ono Band, and then Imagine, and then into Mind Games and Walls and Bridges and Rock and Roll. So there was some really. I think they're the go-to in terms of some of those, but. You're spot on with Walls and Bridges. I mean, the artwork that the original artwork of Walls and Bridges is iconic. Why mess with that?
That's possibly the greatest album cover of the 70s.
Can't argue with you.
Ram may be right behind it, but
yeah, I mean, it's you got like the artwork in like a hybrid thing, and even to try to find an original copy of that album is no easy task these days. Where with the trifold flip thing.
Yeah, I know. Like there was one in the store, the antique store that I buy vinyl at. It's got writing all over the cover for $20, and I'm like,
nah. What do you have? What copies do you have of it?
I only own a 2010 reissue.
A 2010. Does it have the flap or no?
Yes, it does. It hurt my feelings. Take the shrink off of it.
Interesting. That's a 2010 reissue. Is that so that's a 2010 remastering. Okay, so it's not based off the 2005. Interesting. Apple label?
Yeah, original.
Okay, so they just reproduced it. UK? UK?
Yeah. UK label.
Very nice. Very nice. I haven't seen those in my past. And you had talked to me. You had messaged me about that. The album of our topic today being available on vinyl, which I couldn't believe.
Yeah. It's the Ethan Alexanian actually told me that the MoFi edition is this CD pressed on vinyl.
That is amazing.
Now I need to go sell a liver to get that.
Take it easy on the liver. You only get one, Did I lose you? You're back. No, you froze there for a sec.
We're back.
We're back. Your video. You never went off screen, but your audio dropped. I couldn't hear you for a sec.
Yeah. Miming, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very interested. So when did that come out? Do you know?
I think it was 2005.
Wow. So, yeah. So, in terms of Lennon, I forget where we were started. You were asking favorite albums of each of the Beatles. So.
Yeah. Long tangent.
Yeah, it happens.
What is your least favorite Lennon album?
Sometime in New York City.
Do you like that album at all?
I do.
Oh, it's a good album.
I do like it. It's but with everything else that he's done, it's just again we like these albums just to varying degrees. It's like I was just saying with Driving Rain. If we didn't like them, we wouldn't go out of our way to buy this edition, that edition, this remastering. We all like it. It's just what level or degree do we like them more or less?
Right.
So I enjoy it. If I want to get into that kind of mindset where I want to channel what John was thinking and doing in 72 when he was 71 when he got to America, and he was kind of being influenced by the radical lefts of Abbie Hoffman and all those guys. I'll put that on just to see where he was, just to kind of get into that vibe again. It's not a record that you play every day of the week, but I don't anyway. Maybe other people do, and if they do, good for them. But the live jam that's a tough listen though for me. The Zappa jam from 1969, I really can't. Yeah, do you like it?
Oh, I hate it.
Okay, good. So for those reasons, because again, limited discography. And somebody might place Sometime in New York City above a Walls and Bridges or an Imagine or a Plastic Ono Band. Why or how is interesting, but if they like it, they like it. I wouldn't do that, and I don't think you would either.
Yeah, maybe if I was, really sick of this album, which I almost am because I've played this to death over the years.
Now, how did you land your copy of that 2002? Because as you know, CDs are pretty scarce these days. You can only get them on Amazon or used, and you can't go to Target and buy Mind Games anymore. You just can't.
No, so our friend of the show, Craig Kane, who lives pretty close to Tom, sent me this actually after I did the episode on the actual LP.
On the album, yeah.
And I said, I think the 2002 mix is good. I just haven't heard it. And he emailed the address, and he was like, "I'll send you."
Had you at least heard it like a ripped copy or digitally or anything, or find a copy online, or you didn't even, or when you played the CD, that was your first exposure to it?
This was my first exposure to it.
So knowing the album as well as you did, and you reviewed it, when you put that CD on, were your ears like, holy crap, this is so much brighter?
It was.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This was already like my second favorite Lennon album, even though it's like, so my son.
Yeah, like it's plodding along. It's kind of laid back and chill, and I See My Son just goes on and on and on and on and on. But and then you go right into like falsetto with One Day at a Time, which I give Lennon. I listened to the CD this morning in preparation of our show today, and it's like the outtake of One Day at a Time on the Lennon anthology from '98. I actually like better because he sings it not in falsetto. It's better.
I'll have to look up that version.
It's better because he's not, and I give him credit because he was trying something new vocally, but man, hearing John Lennon do falsetto is something you don't expect to hear every day.
No. So we're going to play a game that I'm kind of taking from your show, Player Skip.
Okay.
Mind Games, the single, obviously, it didn't do very well in the charts. Unfortunately, it should have been a #1 single.
Should have been. I believe it. I don't know if the single did or the album did. I think it got to #9. I think. Let's consult the Oracle here, which I like to just refer to as Chip and Mark Easter's 8 Arms to Hold You book, which I've had for 20 years, which chronicles the entire solo Beatles canon. And Tom and I have referenced it on our show. There's a PDF version available now that you can get from them. Hudson, I highly recommend you.
I will get that.
You download that because it's on their website, and it's updated actually because this goes up until 2000. Their PDF had an update, I think, through 2015. I want to say.
Okay.
So I think it's only like $20, but for an ardent Beatle scholar and researcher like yourself, it's definitely, you need it. So let's see.
I think it was the album, I think.
Yeah, the album got to 9. Of course, it doesn't tell me what the single charted here, but I think the album got to #9, which is pretty pathetic. But play it or skip it. I mean, how do you skip Mind Games?
This is top 3 songs on the album.
Top 3 for me. Top 3 Lennon songs of all time.
Solo, Beatles included.
Oh no. Just Lennon.
Okay.
If I'm ranking my top 5-10 Lennon songs, Mind Games is probably 1.
Yeah. What are your top 3 Lennon songs? Just curiosity.
Mind Games, Remember, and How from Imagine, I'll say.
Oh, good choices.
Yeah.
Woman's in there for me. I gotta squeeze Woman in there.
Yeah. So what do you have? What are your top three?
Woman, I know. Scared. No,
Scared.
what's that song called? Not Scared. What You Got from Walls and
What
Bridges.
you got? Yeah, yeah. Have you ever heard the WNEW interview with Scott Muni when John goes? I'm not sorry, not with Scott Muni, with Dennis Elsis when he was promoting Walls and Bridges.
Not yet, but he said it was like a pretty dark time.
Well, yeah, because it was the Walls, and I'll send you the link. It's on YouTube. Actually, I think I even have the file. I can email it to you. It's a wonderful show where he just popped into the studio to promote Walls and Bridges, and he promotes and he talks pretty much track by track about the album. Now the version I have cuts out the songs because it was on the radio, but somebody taped it and turned it into an MP3, and most of it's on YouTube too. I'll send it to you. But um, he's like reading commercials, doing the weather and stuff, and talking about Walls and Bridges. And being that you're such a big fan of that album, I think you'll really dig that interview. It's with Dennis Elsis, WNEW FM New York, September of '74. If you want to just Google or YouTube that,
I'll
but
look into it after.
yeah, it's worth your listen. You will, as a Walls and Bridges fan, you'll definitely appreciate that. So, what you got in your top three? Interesting.
Yeah, one of the few rockers of his solo catalog.
Yeah, and then Walls and Bridges, as you know, also includes the only Lennon instrumental in his whole career
Beef
with
Jerky, which
Beef
I like
Jerky.
better than the A side.
You do, huh?
Yeah, that was our topic because Kit O'Toole and I did a show on Walls and Bridges. We taped it on Wednesday,
Oh, cool.
so that we were because her and I are not fans of whatever gets you through the night. Interestingly enough,
Too much sax,
too much Elton.
too
Not
much
I'm
Elton.
not an Elton fan, but it's just she loves her horns, so
So you think Elton's too much in that track, right?
I just don't like that song very much.
Did you hear the new version, the new kind of
That version,
remixed version? The
I
remixed
love.
version on "Give Me Some Truth," the new box,
That's a way better version.
way better because it's Elton's a little muted on that one.
It's like mute.
Yeah. In fact, the show we just did on Two Legs with Ghosty, he made a great analogy with "Whatever Gets You Through the Night," sounding like the opening of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that was when I was watching this morning. That was funny.
Because he's right. It's like you listen to "Whatever Gets You Through the Night," it's like live from New York. It's Elton John and John Lennon. Yeah. Yeah, but Lennon, yeah, definitely. Remember, Mind Games, Remember, and How, I think are just, I mean, that could change that third song, but definitely Remember and definitely Mind Games. I mean, it was the first. Mind Games was the first foray into my journey into the Beatles. Like I do a Paul McCartney podcast with Tom, but John Lennon was my first entry into anything related to the Beatles. I didn't even know he was in the Beatles. My dad had the records, and I'm like, this is pretty good. And then I'm going through the records, and I see the same guy on these covers, or with these three other guys on these other covers, and I'm like, what is this? So not your normal way of people of discovering, and I'm sure you have a similar tale.
Oh, Imagine was gifted to me on my birthday with a turntable. I played that to death
Before any Beatles, right?
before any Beatles. And then I
Interesting.
saw Sergeant Pepper the weekend of the 50th anniversary, and I have never looked back.
That'll be 4 years. That's 4 years ago. This when did that come out? The 50th, 20 May of 27. That's 4 years ago already.
I know, it's crazy.
And we've gotten a lot of Beatle product in those 4 years, haven't we?
Yes, like the Beatles, I'm so worn out on. It's like I play solo Beatles, and that's like it. It's
Yeah, because and I know Ken Michaels always talks about this too. Because when you whack up all the four solo Beatles, you got 50 plus years when you count them all of music, of solo music. 13 main canon albums of the Beatles, and they're fantastic. But if you go down the rabbit hole with the Beatles for a few months, you're going to go through everything pretty quickly.
yeah, like with Ringo albums, I still need to brush up on a few in Spotify. It's like
Yeah, because how much listening can you do? I mean, That's why Tom and I do the McCartney. That's why Tom started Two Legs. I mean, he's told this. He was like, well, do we do Beatles? Do we just do John? And he was like, well, Paul's we can do one on Paul because there's so much to do on Paul. He's got so much to cover, and he's right about that. I think with the with everything that Paul's done, it's easy to kind of just focus on one podcast. But it's nice to see that there are Lennon podcasts, Glass Onion podcast with Anthony, who we've had on, and you're in the world, and you kind of the way you do your show, Hudson, is you kind of just dedicate a show to each Beatle, each solo career, pretty much.
Yeah,
is that how you do it?
Yeah, kind of like Tom Moore Talk, but just one host.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so next track.
Yeah.
This is a rocker. Oh, I love this track.
You're playing it.
Oh, play and repeat.
I'll say I'm playing it, but I don't love it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Wonky lyrics, tight as with the dollar sign. I remember being a kid looking at this lyric sheet. I'm like, what is going on in this song? It's
like this is like a modern day Lennon song almost.
It is. Good little rocker. Tight as you can make it, hard and slow ain't hard enough. I mean, it's got it starts right away, boom, boom, which is cool. But yeah, I would say I never used to like this one as much, but I like it a lot more now. So definitely play it, tight as for sure.
Thrown on you.
Oh yeah.
Good. Not like somebody with Off the Ground.
No.
I will never let him live that down.
Nor should you.
I know.
Nor should you. And, I think he likes it a lot more now than he did before he met me.
Ooh, I almost cried in that episode with Mayo.
Oh, my God. When we did the one with Joe Mayo back in December? I know. Yeah, we had him outnumbered 2-1 there.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah. So, next track, Assume a Sen. I play this song.
It's a play for you?
Yeah. Is it a play for you?
Big play.
Oh,
big play.
I agree.
Key. Again, I know we just talked a few minutes ago how it's a little bit meandering and plodding, but I think it's a great song. Great guitar solo on there by David Spinoza towards the end of the track. He just lets loose on the guitar solo at the end of Assume a Sen. I think, I love that whole, I like when it changes. The chord changes and it goes to All That I Know Is What You Tell Me. I love that part. I think that's fantastic. Originally started life as Call My Name as a 1971 demo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, started life as Call My Name. Now, well, you have the 2002 on there, and Call My Name is on there as a bonus track.
Oh,
wait a minute. No, it's not. I thought it was. See, these are the years of bootlegs just filling up my brain. Assume a Sen. No, I'm sorry. It is on here, but it's titled Assume a Sen home version. But when you listen to that demo version, he's saying it's just Call My Name.
Okay. Now that the one time I've listened to those demos, now I remember that.
It was called Call My Name. But definite standout on Mind Games is this track. So we're both on the same page there.
Yeah. It's just a perfect song, I think. And he's, talking to Yoko, apologizing for the.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much imagery with this record in terms of where he's at. This record was produced at the kind of the beginning of the Lost Weekend. He was still in New York. This was done at the record plant, and it was finished up by the time he had went to LA in November. So he had already left. So the album was started in New York, and then when he was promoting Mind Games, and the album came out in November of '73. He and Yoko had already kind of taken their break, because if you've seen that very famous interview of John Lennon on the beach with the short cropped hair talking with Elliot Mintz, that's right. That's in November of '73, right as Mind Games came out. So, yeah, I mean, even down to the cover, Yoko's big head and he's walking away, so there's a lot of foreshadowing and imagery. Yeah, just as Hudson's holding up there. So that, so it's, he's saying he's sorry. And I think it's a fine track from this album, and should be, and I really can't wait until this album gets this new box set treatment? Because can you wait till you see these ultimate mixes of these songs? I mean, you're gonna love that.
This is gonna get reappraised big time, I think.
I agree with you. I mean, Walls and Bridges went to number one, deservedly so. But Mind Games, Mind Games is like, for me, it's like I equate it, and it's like my Red Rose Speedway. That's what it is for me.
Yeah, same year.
Same year.
Best year for solo music.
Probably the best. And there was a great Talk More Talk on that. Did you ever see that one?
Maybe I did.
They did what was the best year of all the solo Beatles, or no, I don't know if it was Talk More Talk. It might have been Things We Said Today. I think it was Things We Said Today, and they universally said 1973 was the year.
Yeah, unanimous. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
also overlooked, like Ringo and Material World. As much as I love those two albums, this gets overlooked. Same with Red Rose.
right, because George did very commercially well with "Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth," and of course Ringo with the self-titled, with the other Beatles helping him on that record also.
Yeah.
So that John kind of gets lost in the middle there in '73 with Mind Games, because I think a lot of it had to do with the fallout from some time in New York City.
Yeah.
That was such, I think went to number 48 or something in the charts. So John really had to rehab his image musically after that record. And this album does that. But when you compare it to what McCartney was doing in '73, Live and Let Die single comes out.
Correct.
Red Rose, My Love, the single, Red Rose Speedway, the James Paul McCartney special. George has, Living in the Material World. And then Ringo, John kind of fell under the radar. And to your point, when Sean and the team, remix this one with that wonderful team that has been doing all this stuff, I think you're right. People are going to be like, holy crap, what a great record this is.
Yeah, I'm going to be yelling at some people that don't appreciate this album after. And
Good. I'll yell with you.
yeah. But this has really gone up in stature as an album. Like, I can name two other people that say that this is their favorite Lennon album.
Oh, really?
Ken Michaels and Ethan.
Ken Michaels, I knew. I did not know that it was Ethan's too.
Yeah, but
yeah.
So moving on to the next track.
Well, I think we know. Well, I don't know how you feel, but we know how I feel.
I think I can guess.
How do you feel?
Yep.
Are you skipping it?
Yes.
Okay, we're 2 for 2 on this. So, why are you skipping it? Like, is it just because of the falsetto, as I mentioned earlier, or no?
I love Lennon. I play this in the context of the album, but if I would not play this album just to hear this song. It's one of the very few clunkers in Lennon's solo career. It's especially on the original LP. It's
you make a good point. Like, you're not going to bust out Mind Games and just go to track 4 just to hear One Day at a Time. However, we might do that to hear Mind Games or Bring on the Lucy or Out the Blue or I Know, we're not taking out and going, oh, I want to hear that falsetto and I want to hear those wonderful backing vocalists, which I've never actually found anything about. The fact that they're only credited as, if you look at the lyric sheet or the info sheet here with the original record, backing chorus is credited to a group called Something Different. That's their name. That could have been 2 ladies in the office. We don't know. So there's
different.
It certainly is, and it's why that song is a skip for you and I.
Yeah. But so next track, Bring on the Lucy. Play and repeat.
Play and repeat times 10. Yes.
Yeah. When I'm running, this is the song from the album that I play.
Is this the one if you're going for a jog, you throw this one on?
Oh, of course.
I mean, and I wanted to look it up before we went on the air, but I forgot it. This song was actually featured in the credits of a movie that came out in the early 2000s. Something of Children of Something. I'm gonna look it up real quick if you don't mind me here. Hold on.
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
To look up when the single of mine where that chart is.
Yeah, Bring on the Lucy. Let's see. I forget what song. Let's see. It was in a movie. Hold on. Children of Men. Okay. Now, I've never seen that film, but I just remember at the time that movie came out, and in the Beatles forums of worlds, everybody was like, "Hey, Bring on the Lucy is actually in the credits of this film, Children of Men." Which, obviously the director, he knew his good solo Lennon. Just from the opening of that track, all right, boys, this is it. Over the hill, you're like, what is? And then boom, it just shoots right at you. And it hooks you instantly.
Yeah,
Doesn't it?
of course it does. Like, this was the one song that I really liked on the first listen.
Right away, right?
Yeah, when I was 9, and I got this album in Maine, I think, and 6 hours away, no turntable. So like a week later, coming back, I plopped this on my turntable. I think I got the Hey Jude album as well up there, and
Oh yeah.
I played both of those. And this, it took a while for the album to grow on me, but this was like the first song, other than Mind Games and Sumasen, that were like, boom.
Right. Now, again, the backing vocals of the are on here. When they with the Free the People Now stuff.
I like them.
Right, but you like them, whereas on One Day at a Time you thought it was too schmaltzy, right?
Right.
But this is again this. If I'm doing a top 10 of of Andy's favorite Lennon songs, this is on there too.
I agree.
And it's funny. It's kind of a throwback to the Sometime in New York City political stuff, because we don't care what flag you're waving, all this kind of 666, all this kind of Big Brother stuff, so it's kind of a political song, but it's light enough and strong enough melodically that you can kind of I never kind of viewed this as like, oh, Lennon being political. I just thought it was a good song.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a political nerd, so this is like, that's probably why I like Sometime in New York City.
Right. Yeah. Because if you gravitate towards that stuff and you like it, then you're gonna go for it. But Free the People Now. So it's got that kind of, you know, late 60s, peace and love thing kind of throughout it. But I don't really care, because the song it's got so many hooks. He is off the charts with his wordplay in that song.
Yeah, maybe it inspired Ringo.
You think? Oh yeah, maybe it did. Maybe it did. Yeah, and again, if seek out that Lennon anthology if you can find it streaming or whatever, because there's a nice rough mix of Bring on the Lucy on that box set as well.
I'll look that up.
Yeah. Yeah, but and I guess this. Oh, do we get the 3 seconds of silence to close out? Yeah, we do. How could we skip that? The national.
We say 6.
Yeah. So side 1 closes with the old Utopian International Anthem. Skip it or play it. Oh, I lost you. I lost you again.
Okay.
Now you're back. Now you're back.
Zoom.
Oh, Zoom. Come on, Ringo. You're supposed to be helping us zoom in, zoom out here, and you're not helping us out.
No.
I wonder if Zoom gave him any, like, little cash on the side for promoting, their program. Yeah, so we're both playing Bring on the Lucy. Are we skipping or playing the Utopian International Anthem?
All right, my only complaint is I still don't hear anything on this mix. I still don't hear any sound from that.
You should hear like some hiss. You should.
I hear like a
and that's it? Okay. Well, I'm gonna play it. I'm playing it. I'm playing it. It's only 3 seconds. I mean, how do you skip it? It's only 3 seconds. And besides, when on the album, that was it. Like, you heard Bring on the Lucy, and it was like, oh, side 1's over. No, you had 3 seconds. You had the anthem.
Pretty much. But yeah, I'll play this song.
Why not? It's on there, and it's only 3 seconds before we flip her over, or we continue the CD if you're listening to that remix to Intuition.
Oh, what a highlight of a song this is.
Why do you like it?
The lyrics are just funny. It's kind of perky.
Bouncy. It's a bouncy tune.
Kind of reminds me of something that could have been on the McGear album almost.
Yeah, which I have to admit, I don't know that album all that well, and I really need to listen to it, because my partner and I want to do a show on that, and I couldn't tell you one song on that album.
I like the opening song, Sea Breezes, and that's it.
Okay, so you like Sea Breezes, so that's which is a cover?
I think.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know because I'm nice to know that like 'cause everybody raves about that album. Oh my McGear, it's like the Lost Wings album. Really? If it was so good, Paul would have put it out.
It's quirky. It's weird.
Okay. Because Tom swears by that thing. Oh my God, McGear, it's so great. I'm like,
There's like frog ribbiting, so it's like we all stand together plus CP, which I know you love your all we all stand together, but
I
I think
do.
that song
You can't. You don't like it, right? You
I
can't
think
stand
it's
it.
probably my least favorite McCartney song with like half of Flowers in the Dirt.
Yeah,
So
that's right. I know you don't like half of flowers. You're down on, which hey, that's cool though.
off
Different.
the ground or Flowers? What do you pick?
Flowers.
Okay.
Flowers. Only because of what? Only because it was the beginning of like Paul coming back again and really kind of going out there and touring and stuff. That album did so much to rejuvenate his career. I kind of just view Off the Ground as chapter 2 of that period. So that's all.
Yeah, I think Ken Michaels won it when I told him that that was my least favorite McCartney album. I
Was he
think
shocked?
I yeah, he was.
Well,
And I felt bad.
we love Ken, but Ken would defend Ringo reading Webster's dictionary from A to Z, and say how can you not like that? It's tremendous.
Which I respect that a
I
lot.
do too. He's got a passion and a career unparalleled to any, but Ken loves everything.
He does. Except Gratitude.
Yeah.
I probably in one of these days.
Maybe.
And
Maybe.
McCartney too.
Yes.
Ooh. We didn't
Yeah. But Intuition is a song that I'll play it. I don't skip it. Light, jumpy thing, quirky, kind of weird organ going on through it a little bit. It's a kind of it's a bouncy song that's not very typical of John Lennon. You don't hear him doing these kind of songs.
Right.
It's almost like more of a McCartney poppy kind of Penny Lane riff in a way.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah, it does.
But because of that, it's again, the whole mood of this album is light and relaxed. There's nothing too serious. It's even lighter than Imagine. It's not as deep. It's not as raw as Plastic Ono Band. It's not as heavy or sweet as Imagine. It's just an album. And I think that's why in the 70s it kind of fell into the because it wasn't some big grand statement. It wasn't here's Plastic Ono Band, John raring his soul, or here's Sweet John with sugar and strings doing Imagine. It was or political. It was just an album, and I think that's why it's kind of gotten lost in the shuffles. And a lot of these tracks, like Intuition, are like they don't set the world on fire, but they're damn good nonetheless, and that's why we play them.
I mean, it's like a sister album to Walls and Bridges. It really is.
Totally agree.
I mean, same like with 33 and a Third and George Harrison. They're sister albums.
Sister albums through and through. You could play them back to back. You really could.
Dark Horse and Extra Texture too, I think a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. I think they work better with. I think 33 and a Third and Self-Titled could be like a double album.
So same with Material World and Brainwashed.
Yes,
Really.
totally agree.
But yeah.
Yeah. So you're playing Intuition, right?
Oh yeah. 10 out of 10 song.
Win. All right. Next up,
Out the Blue.
which for years I always thought was Out of the Blue, and because subconsciously you just think that
An Apple Jam.
it's not. It's not an Apple Jam. You're right.
What a beautiful song.
This really should have been like a second single.
Oh, should have been. And your partner's wedding song.
It was.
Great choice.
Great choice. I mean, it's a perfect song. Just you hear that nice acoustic guitar intro. You're like, ooh, what is this? Is gonna, when you hear that acoustic guitar, it's gonna be something special.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, you came to me, and then just that, boom, and it goes right into the everyday, boom, all that. It's again, and these are some strong lyrics.
Yeah, some of the strongest lyrics he ever wrote.
Yep. I mean, I know it's kind of seems very ordinary. Out the blue, you came to me and blew away life's misery. It works, but then kind of the verses are so strong, though, right? All my life's been a long, slow knife. I was born just to get to you. So again, this is the John and Yoko themes, like, right? So they're apart right now, and he's apologizing to her on side one, and now he's like, wishing that he was back with her, probably subconsciously.
I agree.
Definitely, I think those themes are very present on this, and then we'll see that is probably the case really on later on when we get to the second to last track on the album, "You Are Here," which is obviously. But "Out the Blue" is a definite play it. And if we were ranking the tracks like we do with McCartney albums, on this, "Out the Blue" was probably 3
Oh,
after Mind Games and Free the People. I'd put "Out the Blue" 3.
I agree. Well, I know it's got to be in the top three.
Well, come on, man. That's your
Come
namesake.
on, people.
Come on, people. Let the world begin.
Yeah.
We've got a future, and Andy's charging in because he really likes that song. I don't care what you say, Tom.
Okay. Good point.
Ah,
All right.
we're up to "Only People." Curious on this one. Skip or play it. You're skipping it, aren't you? Yeah, I knew it.
Let me guess. You play it.
I play it, but I don't go out. I play it because when I'm playing the album, it's just on there. This is one of those songs I'm not going out of my way to put on just to listen to, like I would do with a "Out the Blue" or a "Free the People" or "Mind Games."
That's
Or
what I don't skip songs. So this is like, unless it's like.
I'm going to skip it. I'll skip it too.
Okay.
I'm going to skip it. In fact, this was used, fun fact, on a kind of rare or there was some kind of Japanese commercial, like selling shoes or something, like way back in the day or something. I don't know exactly, but it was this song was used on a Japanese television commercial eons ago. And I remember seeing it going, "That's Only People" in a television commercial. I mean, no joke. Yeah, maybe in your comments somebody can tell us which one it was, but it was definitely used in a commercial.
I'm sure somebody will know.
Yeah. I think this song could have had a lot more potential. Because again, this is one of those ones I'm trying to think. I think this song started life as a demo song called "Sally and Billy," which you should look that up because the chorus is the same. The let me see, yeah, not the I have to think. I just can't think of it in my head at the moment. But this song basically started life as a demo song called "Sally and Billy," which morphed into "Only People." With the whole, "Well, I know how hard we tried," and that part of "Only People" is what was part of "Sally and Billy."
Right. I
Um,
think I've heard that demo somewhere.
yeah, and it's again, this is like another one of those kind of jumpy numbers that are kind of in the vein of Intuition, but just a little on the corny side. So skip.
Yeah, I think that if you had like the Beatles, this could have been like one of those songs that you wish the Beatles were on to make it better.
Agree. A bit, yeah. If you think what Paul and George and Ringo could have added to the song, would have been a hell of a lot better than
Oh, it would
them.
have.
Well, Paul. See, this is where Paul would have cleaned the lyrics up a little bit, a
True.
little bit. Like John would have he probably would have said, "Look, let's make this a really good song."
Yeah, not a filler track.
It's filler. It's filler.
But
Runs
filler
on
Lennon is good Lennon.
because there's only filler. Lennon is still good Lennon.
I
So
agree.
how many have we skipped so far? Not too many. We've skipped "One Day at a Time" and this, right?
Yeah, there's one more skip on the album for me.
Okay. I think I know which one that is. I think.
Nope, never mind. That isn't a skip. I'm thinking of a different album.
All right. So now we come to your namesake.
Yes, so this was not the original namesake of this show.
It was not.
So this show was like for the first 2 or 3 weeks was called Crackerbox Podcast. But when I was like, oh, let's put this on Podbean, of course there's another show called that.
Is that why you changed it? I never found out why you changed it because I remember seeing Cracker Box and I'm like, this is cool. And then I saw I know pop up and I'm like, wait, is this another new show or but is this the same? It was just you again.
Same show, but of course I decided to move to Anchor as a hosting service because I don't want to have to pay for Podbean.
Yeah.
And I want to get on Spotify for free.
Right. Which can you do that through Anchor?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how much is Podbean?
I think it's $9 a month for the unlimited.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but
But you can do it. You can host for free, and then so that's why when you uploaded it, they said, "Oh, there's already a podcast called this," so you changed it.
yeah.
Now, how did you come up with I know" to change that? Is because just your affinity for the song, or you thought it worked as a show title, or what?
Well, so I'm like scrolling through every single solo album and every single Beatle album.
Right.
And I almost called the show "What's That You're Talking About," a play on "What's That
What's
You're,"
that you're doing? Sure.
but and then I almost called it "I Want to Tell You About the Beatles."
That could have worked, but then that's more like Beatles, and you want to focus on solo, right?
Yeah, and I almost called this "We Don't Believe in Beatles," but of course there's a show called that, which
Yep.
I'm try to find them now. But of course, but yeah, but so I just decided, I know, good song.
Yeah. Um. Again, buried on the deep. I mean, I'm sure this is a play for you. Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. Like
Yeah, like top 5 solo Lennon songs.
it's on my top 10. If anything, if anything detracts this song a little bit, it just might be the whole little at the end, the no more crying bit might go on a little bit too long. Maybe that could have been shaved a little bit, but even still, it's still a fantastic song.
If it was on Shaved Fish, they would have shaved it like they did with half the songs.
That's right. Yeah, that thing is a mastering mixing nightmare. That record. I mean, Lennon even knew
Maybe
that.
an episode where we trash this. I'm gonna trash this compilation someday.
You can, but you have to also keep in mind that it's the only compilation that Lennon oversaw in his lifetime.
Right.
So on that merit alone, it should be held in a little bit of a higher regard, even though it's a mess and the mixes are all not really what they should be.
We'll
The
just talk
fact that
about
he Right, the fact that he oversaw it, the artwork, I mean, it was pretty interesting. And that was that was my introduction. That was that record.
I mean, like, I know how everybody likes Trash Wings greatest, but that's how I got into Paul.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's then you have like the whole I mean, it was just, and then at the end of it, I think side two ends with Happy Christmas, and then you hear those last few strands of them doing, I guess, Give Peace a Chance, which was
Yeah.
from the live concert in Madison Square Garden in '72. Didn't know that at the time. I was just playing that as a record. I'm like, okay, this song ends. What is this like? What is this little thing at the end of the? Just a weird record, but very kind of creative cover. I don't know. I think
Oh, one of the best covers ever.
I want to. I'm going to take a guess here that Roy Kohara did the artwork for that, but because he was Capitol's artwork man.
Yeah, that's what it says on the back.
It was Roy Kohara, yeah, because Roy did a lot of album artwork for Capitol. So interesting design. Probably contractually obligated to do it because it was the last. It was the last album that he did that he put out before Double Fantasy, because Rock and Roll, of course, came out in February.
Oh, okay. When did this come out?
I want to say probably in the fall of '75.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Because Rock and Roll came out in February. It could have been. It could have been a little. It could have been a little bit sooner. But I want to say the fall of '75 is when that came out. So, but it's too bad it wasn't done the right way. To your point.
Yeah, I agree.
But I know. Man, the years have passed so quickly. One thing I've understood: I'm only learning to tell the tree from wood. Okay, I don't know what to tell the trees from wood means. I don't care because it just that it sounds great.
So good.
Bingo.
I relate to this song so much. I don't know why, but it like speaks to me. And funny thing is that this cover is my Fans on the Run artwork.
There you go. Ethan, thank you, Ethan. You're helping Beatle podcasters everywhere.
Here, there, and everywhere.
That's right. I've read a theory that I know, or what that people think that it's some kind of subliminal message to Paul as like a thank you.
Yeah, I wonder that too.
And it's a nice thought to have. Of course, we'll never know. And you often wonder if you think of like if Paul had heard that song, what does he think of it? Because you don't hear Paul talk about Lennon songs too much. I know he did that recent podcast for John's 80th birthday with Sean and Julian and stuff, and Sean asked him about, like, what songs of my dad's do you really know? And kind of Paul just kind of danced around. It was like, he said the usuals, Imagine and, Happy Christmas. I would love if somebody did like a feature where Paul actually listened to John's songs and really critiqued them. Wouldn't that be interesting?
I would love to see him do that with, Ringo. He was kind of always there, but like, with John and George's catalog,
Just listening to it, like, what could I have added to this? Or like have him be very frank and say, oh, I think John was a little nutters on this track, or it wasn't good, or I could have done, like, I would love to know their thoughts on all their albums,
I agree.
And I think I know it probably has nothing to do with Paul, but it's a nice thought to have. Because he's telling you the years have passed so quickly. I mean, again, this could be a Yoko thing. The Yoko,
probably it's Yoko or Paul.
It's probably Yoko, but you can apply Paul to this. Today I love you more than yesterday. Right now I love you more right now. Yeah, again, the whole "Ooh, no more crying" thing is probably my least favorite part of the song. But man, just those opening chords, boom, doom, 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 doom. I mean, that's, and then he just delivers such a great vocal delivery on it. Who doesn't hear this Lennon singing "The years have passed so quickly"? One thing I've understood, and their ears go perk up, going, "Ooh, this is a good song."
That was me, not pun not intended.
That was me. Boom, boom.
Oh, I love that song.
Oh God, skip that one.
Oh, don't say that.
Sorry. But yeah. This is you have this on top. This is in your top 10 Lennon songs of all time.
Yeah, top 20 including Beatles, probably.
Including Beatles too. Wow. I have to agree with you. Play it for sure.
Play, repeat. Definitely.
And again, when I really look forward to the day when the Ultimate Mixes box comes out of Mind Games. You need to do like a Mayo type video on it, since you love this and Walls and Bridges a lot. You do a video on that when that comes out.
Yeah, that'll be the first box set where I sell half of my other kidney. Bye.
Yeah, to get it.
Yeah.
Well, if you have Spotify, it'll be available streaming. I
don't like streaming.
I don't either.
It's only for Ringo's albums.
Bingo, Ringo. Well, sidetrack, but streaming is convenient, but I wouldn't rely on it as your bread and butter, because you can't.
And to hear McCartney 3 at midnight.
That's the great thing for it, right? Because, like, Tom and I have pre-ordered Plastic Ono Band the box, and that might come a day or two after release date, but there's nothing to stop it from, because I think the physical boxes have been pushed back a few weeks, but on April 16th, when that drops at midnight, we can listen to it. So for that reason, I like streaming, but we people like to have our physical stuff.
Yeah, I was so lucky because December 18th, they canceled school. So I had the whole day to devour McCartney.
Man, was there snow? Is that why?
Yeah. I'm in Vermont.
Yeah, so yeah, you're in Snowland. And Tom, I think, took the day off to go to the Targets. I remember him texting me, I got it. Oh, okay. I'm at work. Oh yeah. He got the green Target vinyl like that day.
Ripped the shrink right off it, I'm sure.
Right off. I think he's up to 10 copies of McCartney 3.
I'm up to 1, and it's staying at 1.
Sealed or open?
Oh, open, but shrink on.
Shrink on. Okay.
That is one of the reissues.
Which one?
The 2021. I'll show you after the show.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's already been reissued? The album came out 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Okay.
But, so.
Yeah. Moving on.
You Are Here.
What are you doing?
I'll play it in the context of the album, but this is like one of his lesser songs.
I feel like going to sleep when you listen to this song, right?
Yeah.
Again, this obviously is Yoko, because her exhibition that he put on for her was You Are Here.
Right.
Again, I like the image. I like the imagery of this song. from Liverpool to Tokyo, it's a long way to go. But I think it's kind of it's a bland lyric, wherever you are, backing vocals.
Sounds like a Smulchy Paul song.
It does. Yeah, I think this one was a little bit of a half-assed writing attempt. Pardon
It
my
was.
French. It's just yeah, because when you go from I know, you've got this, and then to the album closer, this is kind of like okay, like because Meat City, as we'll get to, I mean that's a whole other. that's a that's a song out of left field, which is not even in context of what the whole album up until this point is pretty much low key, pretty chill, feet low, kind of very, and then you got You Are Here, which so I'm skipping it too. I'll skip this track. I will.
But it's still like a 6 out of 10 song.
Yeah, yeah, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, but definite skip it.
So moving on to the closing track, Play and Repeat.
Ditto.
One
Man,
of the most underrated B-sides by any of the 4 solo Beatles.
hands down, agree.
And dare I say it's Lennon's best B-side.
Yeah, yeah, I think it probably is Lennon's the best B-side. It just comes out of nowhere. You're in this tranquil state listening to You Are Here, right? And then you hear this, and you're like, whoa, what is this? And again, the lyrical wordplay in this song, finger licking, chicken picking, Meat City, shook down USA.
That's so Lennon.
So Lennon. This is, and it's just got a good riff, well, I've been to China to see for myself. And then, yeah, it's, great. Everything, the hooks are in this song, everything, everything but the kitchen sink really is in Meat City. And it's got that weird ending, right? It just kind of stops and he's going, who is that? Who is that? And it just fades out.
Yeah. It's a perfect way to close the album.
Oh man. And again, it holds the distinction. It's the vinyl, the version on the album is different than the version on the 45.
Correct. Is that a UK 45?
It is a UK 45.
Oh, you lucky person.
Yeah, which I bought in the UK on one of my trips.
One of your Liverpool?
It actually was before Liverpool. I went to England a couple times with my family, and I got this then. It was before the Liverpool experience. So I think this was, I think at the time it was like £5 or £6, which was about $10 or $11 back then.
Somewhere in England.
Somewhere in England, yeah. But yeah, it's so yeah. Meat City has the on this one it says check the album, right? Is the backwards message?
Yeah, and then
what do we, and then we have the expletive on the vinyl on the yeah.
Pig.
Right, which John was always very apt to say quite a bit, as we know.
Yeah.
I think Meat City is a great track. I'd love to actually. I'm not really big on people covering Beatles music, kind of tying into like the McCartney 3 reimagined. I could care. Don't. Yeah. I know you said in our chat that you're not buying it. I'm not buying it either. But I would love to hear a new artist take on Meat City.
I would love to see Ringo do a take on this.
Does Ringo even know about Meat City? He probably's never even heard it.
No, probably not.
Because
him wailing off on the drums.
Oh, I don't know if he could even do it now.
He looks younger than me, and
he's 81. He's going to be 81. Yeah, and actually, this song started life as a little rocker called Shoe Shine.
Interesting.
It started as a song called Shoe Shine. Again, it's available on a ton of Lennon bootlegs, but you can hear that initial germ of an idea that becomes later becomes Meat City, as the song Shoe Shine.
And yeah, but
definitely play it. And I actually think this is the other tracks can be kind of sequenced. However, this one is properly sequenced to close the album. Would you agree?
I would agree. And this is the only I don't like the mix on this CD. I don't.
Why?
It seems too spaced out for me personally.
Yeah.
I like the cluttered feel on this.
You like for Meat City. Well, let's talk about that a little bit now. Now that we've skipped or played all the tracks and we're playing just about all of them.
Three, I think.
Yeah, 3. I think 3. the original recording from 73, you know, of course it was just, and this is well documented, but it was so muddy. You know, it was so muddied and densely produced. And John Lennon produced this record. You see, so there was no fill.
Not like his voice.
No. So he's going to do anything he can to mask it and disguise it. And it really, really, I mean, you know, the first edition on CD that EMI put out in 1987,
Okay.
which is this one here with the blue. This is the initial run that EMI did, basically mimicking the vinyl release. It's dense. Now, that's why early 2000s come, and you're hearing that, you know, these Plastic Ono Band, Imagine, Mind Games, you know, they all, between 2000 and 2005, all the Lennon's albums were remixed, as we've discussed, and the Mind Games remixing from 2002, if I can speak for Hudson and myself, is Heads and Shoulders like the best one about all of them.
Oh, the best one.
Because it brightened up the dense production of the 73, the original mix that John did. You can hear Mind Games. It's brighter, it's clearer. John's vocals are more prominent. They're not so buried in the mix. All of the songs, I See Miss Sen, Bring on the Lucy, Out the Blue especially, and I Know, right?
I agree.
Those tracks in particular on the remix, like,
boom.
It just it brightens it up, and it's really it's, you know, at the time these come out and you buy them and you think they're going to be around forever, and now here's, you know, Hudson, you know, he's just got the CD through a Beatle podcast friend, because you can't buy these things anymore, and that's really unfortunate, because, you know, they should be heard, and because the remix job that was done on this CD is phenomenal, and I mean, I have a very good friend of mine that I work with, and he's also a big Beatle fan, and he's like, hey, look, man, Mind Games, he goes, that 2002 remix, that's the gold standard. I said, you're right, and it's nice to see that other people agree.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Like the 2010 mix.
Now, yeah, so yes,
you cannot tell these two apart.
You really can't. Now, so yeah, so in 2010, John's 70th birthday, Yoko the Camp puts out the box set of all his albums, and Mind Games comes out again, but now it's restored to the original way that John wanted them, because I don't know how true this is, but, you know, apparently some people were not really happy that John's original recordings were messed with and remixed and tweaked and artwork and so forth. So at that time, since over there, that was okay. We're going to put these out as John originally intended to them. So you had a nice packaging. You know, it was a gatefold CD that opened up like this.
Oh, that's nice.
So the packaging was nice. You had some nice photos in it. You had a nice essay on the out, which kind of contextualizes the period for everybody, which I believe was done by Anthony D. Curtis. I want to say, I can't remember. It might have been Anthony D. Curtis. Let me see. This was done by Alan Rouse, Paul Hicks, and Sean McGee, who are the guys that did the Beatles 2009 remasters. Oh no, the sleeve notes were by Paul Denoyer. Excuse me, Paul Denoyer. So I don't even know if the 2010 box set is available. It's probably out of print like everything else. It is. It's out. So
no, it's still in print.
Oh, it is still in print. So
the vinyl is.
The vinyl is, yeah. So that was nice. But what I loved about the 2002, as you have there, is you actually got in the booklet reproductions of stuff in the trade magazines. You know, you got to see where things were, where it charted, and there it is right there. See, it was in there. It was in our hands the whole time. We didn't know. It charted at number 10.
Yeah, and the single went to 18. I looked up.
The single did go to 18,
according to Wikipedia. So
right. So again, take that with a grain of salt. But this edition did a really nice job of kind of showcasing promotional stuff from the period right here, like an advert like that.
Is that the single cover?
It's a press release. It's not the single. It's just a press release, because the single, as you saw, was this one here.
Oh.
So that, you know, and they were done. This one was done so well. I mean, you had snippets cut out from Newsday, and David Marsh, the great writer, the great rock critic, kind of talking about it here. in the press clippings there. And of course, on the inside, you had the Apple custom labels available too. So this one really, this is how the archive series really, I'm sorry, when they did all these back then, I feel that they all should have kind of been done the same way, and they were not. Imagine they were remixed great, but they didn't include all this nice historical context like the Mind Games does.
Right. You cut out for a second, but I think it'll record all of it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, but it's and of course the bonus tracks, Asima Sen, Bring on the Lucy, and the Meat City, the home version, the home demo version. See, so and I love the quotes. Madness is the first sign of dandruff. Only people can change the world.
That's just perfect.
Yeah, so it's it's an album, and I think I have another copy here. Yeah, this was another UK pickup. Oh, did I freeze? Yeah. Or you froze?
Oh, we're both frozen, I guess.
Give it a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Ringo, why?
Come on, Ringo. Oh, you're back now. Okay, yeah. One little cool thing to show is I have I'm not sure what year it was pressed, but this is a Japanese mini LP replica version that kind of reproduces the sleeve on a CD.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, and then the CD, of course, is the UK custom label.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so Japan released a bunch of these, and that's what this is here. They did basically a mini LP reproduction, and then one final cool little Mind Games discography. I showed Hudson this the other day, and he actually knew more about it than I did. Was a kind of reimagining of the Mind Games album cover from 1980. This is on the Music for Pleasure label, and a really different kind of take on the cover. I don't know if some people like this one better. I like the original better. I don't know about you.
It's like a bootleg.
It's not though. It's got the EMI stamp on it. You see?
Yeah, true.
So this is a legit release, on the MFP label. But it must have been a budget release or something. It says I paid $10 for it in 2002. So
yeah. Yeah, I think I have a Beatles Rock and Roll Music Volume 2 on that label.
On the MFP?
Yeah, that MFP label is just like a budget.
It's got to be a budget, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really seen too many other records on that label, so they're pretty scarce to come by, I would think.
Yeah, it was actually sealed, and then of course I ripped the shrink wrap because I fell.
Oh no!
Walking back from the store that literally just closed.
Oh,
just
really?
Temporarily.
Oh, temporarily. Okay.
I'll talk to you about that after the show.
Sure,
and,
sure.
And I had to take the shrink off. I had to pull it, Tom.
Yeah. Do you keep the hype stickers though?
Oh, of course I do.
See, you have to. You have to. I like what Mayo does with his. He leaves the shrink wrap on and just opens up a little.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Right. That's a good practice to get into. So
Unless
get on it.
Living in the Material World reissue where I want to see the gatefold.
You want to see the gatefold, right? Yeah.
But
yeah.
McCartney 3, that does not get removed.
You don't. Yeah, that one stays on, right?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah. So,
yeah.
Andy, what would you like to plug?
Well, listen, I'm the co-host, as most of you are watching this probably know, of a Paul McCartney podcast that I do with my partner Tom Hanyadi called Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. We are a weekly show that those shows drop every Saturday morning on YouTube, pre-recorded at 10 a.m. Eastern. Most of those are with a guest. Sometimes it's with me and Tom, tackling a range of subjects, anything, McCartney's done, film reviews, concert reviews, albums. I've been a member of the team about a year and a half now. I joined up with Tom in September or October of 2019. So it's been a while now. And we are now, we drop another series of our shows called Ranking the Tracks, which is live on YouTube every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we rank all the tracks to our liking on the main McCartney albums, the canon albums. Nothing live, just the main canon albums. And as of this recording, we have just done Off the Ground. So we have a few more weeks left to take us into early May, and then we're going to finish. But we are going to keep. I know somebody was asking, "Are you guys going to keep doing?" We are going to keep going live on Wednesday nights. We're just going to, come up with a topic to kind of keep it. I think we're going to rank. I think we're going to rank. We're going to rank the albums at some point too,
Ooh,
as well.
that's gonna be fun.
Right. We're gonna do stuff. We're gonna probably do. We'll do some stuff on compilations. We'll do stuff on live albums. So we are going to continue the live part of our show, ranking show. It's just going to take a little bit of a different form once we're done ranking the tracks as they are. So yeah, but that's if we're on YouTube, we're up to 543 subscribers as of today. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And we appreciate everybody checking us out. And we have a great support of community of everybody that kind of checks us out and watches us, like our host Hudson here, and he's been a follower of ours for since I came on board and probably before. So we really appreciate the plug and being out there. So I really appreciate you having me on today.
Thank you so much, Andy. So, I Know is available on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pocket Casts, Anchor, and Podbean, and TuneIn newly. I finally got all those squared away. Some other sources I'm still looking out for. But thank you for watching, and thank you for hitting 50 subscribers with me on YouTube. It's been a great journey. As I always say, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Bye.